Okay, the last rule we have to figure out on our front is our rule number 8, which is our center front neck. So for the X rule, again, we're crossing this first slash line and this second slash line. So we have an 1/8 and an 1/8 again. Okay, so it's just 1/4 of an inch, and it's the same values for all sizes. So my X is going to be -1/4, -1/4, -1/4 for the smaller sizes, +1/4 for the larger sizes. My Y value, because I'm not leaving the x-axis, otherwise my center front would get slanted, is going to be 0. Okay. Now for my 9 rule here, you see on my back bodice, my 9 rule is a little bit complex because of this slash line that goes through my shoulder seam, my shoulder. Okay. So we are going to use this 7 value in the X for our 9 as well. Okay, so with the 7, we added in this extra 1/16 of an inch and a 1/16 of an inch to get that 5/16. So we're going to use that same value for our 9 rule. So we had -1/4, -1/4, -1/4. But then we went into 5/16, 5/16, 5/16, and I realized this should be -5/16, and this should be -5/16. Okay, because it's only my 1 inch grade that has a 0 here. My 1.5 inch and my 2 inch have that extra 1/16 of an inch. And then for my Y rule, I'm crossing the 16th, but I've added this extra slash line. So I put in this handout. So you'll see that shoulder slash line that's on our front, this one, is now being cut into 2. Okay, that'll keep our shoulder dart centered and split the difference between either side, on either side. Okay, so for this Y value for 1 inch grade is going to be a 1/16 plus a 32nd, which is 3 32nds. Okay, I think it's 0.09375, I believe is the value. Okay, and then for my 1.5 inch grade, I have a 1/16 and a 1/16, which is an 1/8. So I'm going to do -1/8, +1/8, +1/8. And then for my 2 inch grade, I have an 1/8 plus a 1/16, which is 3/16. So I have 0.1875. Okay, so those are your grade rules. Now we're going to go over how to put them into AccuMark. So we're going to navigate to AccuMark, and you'll be working in your folder. Because I'm on a home computer, I'll be working on my own. You have a model in your folder called TC322 Bodice. Okay, we're going to save as with components as your own model. Okay, I'm going to be working on this one today. I want you to open the model up. Okay. And we're going to navigate to the grade options. Okay. The first thing we're going to talk about with grade is this first menu size line. This is the menu that's going to help you apply and edit anything having to do with your sizes on your grade. So your grading is determined by the sizes that you tell it. Okay, so you don't necessarily just apply grade. You have to apply a grade rule first. Okay, a rule table. So we're going to make a rule table and we're going to assign it here. But first I'm going to go to these grade options. You only have 3 options here: small, large, incremental, base, up, down, cumulative, base, up, down, incremental. We are always going to use base, up, down, incremental. In class, I gave an example as to what each of these look like. I'll try to explain here, but if you want more follow-up, please come talk to me. I'm sure this will show up on a test at some point this semester. So the small to large incremental basically says I'm starting at the smallest size, okay? Imagine here, I'm starting at the smallest size and I'm grading all the way up, which basically means you don't use negatives and positives. You would just use all positive numbers, okay? I don't like it for teaching because I don't think it helps you understand how things are actually graded. Base up down incremental is exactly what we have here, where we have our base size as 0. We grade down and we grade up from that point. Base up down cumulative is the same thing as base up down incremental, except you would add these values together. So I put a chart down here for if you want to calculate the cumulative. When we're hand grading, we always use cumulative because we're always starting from the base size. However, in AccuMark, it works just as well to work on incremental. And I think it helps as you're learning to really see each value between each size. Okay, so please set your options to base up down incremental. Okay, we're going to go back to AccuMark Explorer, and I want you to go to Process tab, and we're going to click on this Grade Rule button here. And it's going to open up a new grade rule table. Okay. I always like to put something in the comments that lets me know what it is I'm working on. You could say size 6 through 20. Okay. We're going to be using numeric sizes. Our base size is 12. Our size step is 2. The size step is not a grade. It's the number between the names of your sizes. So if your Missy size is 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, the distance between is 2. If its waist size is 30, 31, 32, your size step is 1. Okay? You're going to enter your smallest size and then every single size after that, even your base size. Okay? And then I want you to save this, and you're going to name it whatever. Let's say you're going to name it your initials. Okay, I'm going to just call it TC322 Bodice. Okay. And then I want you to navigate down here to, let's see if you can see this, to this Rules tab. Okay. This is where we're going to enter your rules. Notice here that my grade method is listed. So I have base, up, down, incremental listed here. If you start working on a grade table, please always check this. If you're in small to large incremental, your values, and you enter them like it's a base, up, down, incremental, your grading will not work when you actually apply it to the pattern. Okay. So under rule number, I'm going to type in 1 and click enter, and it's going to give me a new row. Okay. So I'm going to continue to do this until I have my 9 rows. Okay, it's fine if you have an extra row. So in these rows, we're going to enter those values that we wrote in the Excel chart. Okay, you'll use decimal places here. If you wrote them by hand, you probably have them in fractions. This is a good exercise for you to practice turning your fractions into decimals. And so you'll notice there's no base size line here. It's just your breaks. So it's your 6 to 8, which will be your 1-inch grade, your 8 to 10, which is your 1-inch grade, then your 10 to 12, which is your 1.5-inch grade, but still below the base size. And then you have your grading up, which is the 12 to 14, which is your 1.5-inch grade, your 14 to 16, your 1.5-inch grade, 16 to 18 is your 2-inch grade, and 18 to 20 is your 2-inch grade. Okay, so you're going to enter all of these in here. Okay, so here is all my Excel chart switched over to my grade rule table. Okay, if there are mistakes, we will go over kind of how to view them, how to find them in AccuMark, and you can always come back and update your rule table. And to update it on your pattern, all you have to do is reassign the rule table, okay? So really quickly, I'm gonna just go through how we can apply our rule table, okay? So we have our sizes listed down here in your base size, which is correct. However, I know I haven't applied this rule table yet. So I'm going to right click on my piece and go to piece properties. And under piece properties, I have rule tables and it says A1 ladies. So I know that's not my rule table. So the first thing I need to do is assign my rule table. So I'm going to go to grade and the first button in the size line says assign rule table. I'm going to choose this. I'm going to right click select all. And then I'm going to click OK. And then I'm going to navigate to my rule table, okay? And I'm going to say okay. Okay, nothing's going to happen because I haven't applied any rules yet, but I can see my sizes here, 6 through 20, okay? I'm going to show all sizes, so as I apply my grade rules, you can see them. So I'm going to click here. You can also do Control G. Right click select all and OK. Right? Again, nothing's going to happen because I haven't applied rules yet. To apply rules, I'm going to go to rule number, okay, and I'm going to move this off to the side, and then I'm going to start clicking and dragging. I'm going to start with 1 and work my way clockwise around the pattern. So I'm going to click and drag into this point, and I'm going to type 1. The 1 goes under grade rule D1, always. And I'm going to say apply. We know that rule 1 is a 0, 0, so nothing's going to happen. I'm going to click and drag into my next point, which is supposed to be a 2. Okay. You can either click apply or you can click enter on the keyboard, and this tracking box will stay up until you press OK to close it. So you see my notch grades. Then I'm going to grade the end point of my dart, and then I'm going to grade the other dart leg of my dart with 2. When I do this, you see my whole piece grades. However, I don't actually have grade applied here. The system is trying to maintain the shape of the original piece. So as I start moving things around, you'll start to see the other points move. I'm going to click and drag here and add my 3. Click and drag here and add my 4. Click and drag into my notch and add my 5. Notice that as I'm going, I'm still clicking on the perimeter of my base size. Okay, you can't click and slide into any other size except your base size. This is my 6, this is my 7, and this is my 8. Okay. So for your darts, you have internal lines and internal points as well. So you do want to make sure that you apply the same grade rule to all of those. So I'm going to click and drag into this internal line and type in 2. And I'm going to click and drag into this apex and type 2. I'm going to select this point. And note that you can also select multiple points at one time and give them all the same grade rule number. Now, if I want to see my grade rule numbers, I can go to View, Point, Grade Rules, and I'll see those numbers around my pieces. If you see a grade rule number that has an asterisk next to it, it is not a grade rule that's in your table. The system has taken a rule number from your table and essentially made some sort of change to it. So if you are grading things and you see 2, 2, 2, 2, but then you see a 2 asterisk, you need to make sure you update that. So I'm going to go around my back piece and add these grade rules as well. You can also click in space, click and release, lasso, click and release. Maybe get rid of, you don't want any excess points. Okay, so I just have these points selected and I can select 2. So everything grades together. Okay, so once all of these are done, we're going to click save and save our model with our new grade rules. When you save, your grade rules will disappear. You just have to click Control G to add them back.